Good afternoon. I'm like, dang, it's Sunday. They're just rolling together. I hope everybody's had a good day. I've had a good day. I went on a little road trip with my mom to old PetSmart. Had some nice interactions. Nice interaction with a military active duty service member. You know, I try to always say thank you for your service. I generally do. Sometimes I don't. Just depending on the scenario, the circumstances. Dang, did you see that? The illusion and the energy. The energy, really. That's what I told my mom, you know. People don't understand that your aura and your energy can be seen outside of you, especially for those that are connected with themselves, connected with their higher power. You know, you just feel things, you know things, you have intuition, you have discernment. And it's just one of those things. You may not always be right, but 99% of the time, if you go with your gut, it usually leads you down a pretty solid road. All the roads that I went down that were not solid, I was not leading with my gut. I was allowing everybody outside of me to determine what roads I went down. And I take full ownership in that, but that's just the reality. That's the raw truth. And as soon as I started allowing my higher self to guide me through my life, being it is my life, right, is when things started coming together for me. Slowly but surely, you know, it's not a race. Life is not a race. I know everybody's trying to get to the bag and get to a victory. That's not my goal. That is not my goal. It never has it been my goal. And it's teach your own. It's teach your own. You know, what kind of life you want to live here on earth. I choose to live in the moment, embrace the moment, be present in the moment, find the lessons in each moment, and not carry concerning factor of what the exterior world sees or perceives of me. I mean, I understand there's rumors. I understand lies. I understand there's he said, she said. I understand there's systematic abuse that follows me. I'm well aware of all of that. I've been aware of that for quite some time now. The gig's up. And so it's one of those things, like I've gotten to a mentality in my walk where it's just, I'm locked in. I'm locked in my forward trajectory of what I can do to make this world a better place, whether that be for my family, whether that be for my community, whether that be for humanity. That is what I'm locked in on. That said, something just came to me when I was watching Oh Sweet Luna. You know, I think that so often enough people get consumed in their dark nights of the soul, their tower moments of going down the gerber wheel of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, in reference to their actions, their choices, to their decisions, and wishing they could turn back the hands of time and they would have done things differently. And so they carry that nature within themselves of feeling bad and not being forgiving of themselves and recognizing the choices that they made. But I think so often enough when you find yourself in those loopholes, because we all make, you know, choices that we wish we could go back and change. I have a prefla of them, okay? But for me, it's been very freeing. Like, for example, I've had numerous amounts of conversations with my son in the recent years in taking accountability of not being a great parent, in holding the accountability in my addiction and holding the accountability of putting others before him, and just holding my accountability and not being the parent that he deserved. And these are conversations that we've had, you know, and it helps. It's freeing to me. I'm more harder on myself than anybody else is, you know, and that's why I don't carry the weight of what people perceive of me, because I've already thought it 10 times 10. But it's helped me kind of release that, forgive myself of that, you know, and take into account everything I learned through those seasons and be a better mother to him, be a better, daughter, be a better sister, be a better employee, be a better whatever, right? And these are all learning lessons that had I not walked through everything I walked through, I wouldn't have learned these things. And see, you have to learn within your actions that there's always things to learn, and you have to be forgiving of yourself. And for me, it's always helped me be open and honest with it, as well as understanding that there's just things in this world that are designed to make you make choices because we've been ingrained to conform, and we've been ingrained to fit in. And we've been ingrained to check the boxes, or you mean nothing unless you check these boxes that they have designed for us. But the boxes that they have designed for us, they also control that. So what are they controlling? Your worth, right? And so you have to understand that I'm not excusing choices. But at the same time, they're all a part of your path. They're all a part of your walk. And there's things that you can learn within them, and not to beat yourself up. The only reason why you would beat yourself up is because you're not ready to accept accountability and learn within that. There's everything within your world, within your life, every single day. There are lessons to be learned. There are lessons to be learned. Everybody is placed in your life for a reason. So for example, hypothetically, if people have made choices, they've went along with a smear campaign, they've signed the dotted line, they take the payouts, they've taken all these things because they were conditioned to believe this, because compelling stories fly high. Just turn on your TV and go down algorithm lane. I mean, compelling stories fly high. Okay. So you got that venture of it, as well as conformity. Everybody needs money to live. Everybody needs money to live. Okay, as well as we've been conformed that we have to meet this bag, or we don't have that status quo. And if we don't have that status quo, we mean nothing. So you have all these different factors in conformity, right? In social conditioning. Okay. So if you take all those things into factor in that choice and that action that you made, the reason why you make that choice is generally because of those in the backspace, right? But then later on down the road, you start rethinking your choice, and you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I wouldn't have done that. I wish I wouldn't have done that. If I could go back, I'd do it different. Okay, I agree. So what can you learn? In that moment, you can learn, why do I give social conditioning a space in my world? Why do I give status quo a space in my world where I would make decisions that I know aren't really great? Why am I doing that? These are the lessons within that choice, you see? And it's like, I had to learn all these things too. Like, for example, I was talking to my mom this morning and we were just talking about life and talking about that driver that recently passed away. He was 41 years old. I don't believe anything they're spoon feeding us right now. I don't believe none of it, truthfully. And I find it to be unique that this is not, I mean, you're going to see so many false flags. It's not even funny right now. You might as well just buckle up, buttercups. Okay. And he had been putting little hinted into windows, but he had a lawsuit that he was fighting in reference to insurance, which I think should be unpacked. Again, I'm not going to go down too much the rabbit hole, but it's just my heart and prayers go out to his family and his children. You know, same thing with Charlie Kirk and his children, and even Erica in different ways. You know, I mean, just I know she was truly looking in the mirror. She'd be like, "Dang, I really guarantee you, she wish she can go back and do things different." I guarantee you it. I guarantee. 100%. You can just see it. But sometimes choices you make you in the thick that you're so chained up in bondage, and there's always a way out. Accountability and transparency is the way to go, truthfully, but that's something you got to figure out on your own. It just is. But for me, like, for example, when I was having the conversation with my mom in reference to work, you know, I said, there's things that I love about my job. There's things that I'm not too great about, but I would say the things that I do love compared to other jobs and other companies that I work for, this one's like at the top because of the accountability, the transparency, and the honesty and the integrity venture of it. It's the first time that I work for a company that has that at the forefront. And it's amazing to be a part of something like that. I wish more companies operated in that. You know, it's brutal at the first, but a lot of people don't want to take accountability and integrity. And that's why I'm so glad that I stuck it out, because it's helped me tremendously, personally, on the business front, and just all kinds of different ventures. And I see now why God kind of strategically places everything in my life the way that he does. Whether other people around me think it's going to be the detriment of me, it always ends up being for the for the betterment of me, because I choose to carry a mindset of that. I don't move an ego to the best of my abilities. I'm always open for constructive criticism. I'm always open to be the example. I'm always open to take accountability. I'm always open to learn new ways, new understanding. And it's like a sponge. And I think if we all get to a place of understanding that, but also not be so hard on ourselves in the situation and the choices that you make, but understand that there's lessons to be learned in there, but you have to go in and do the work. In the dark nights of the soul, the shadow work. You can't allow your mind to take you down these places. You just kind of got to go through the feelings and the emotions. But the number one thing you have to do is take accountability within it and understand